people will gather for a wedding.
Yeah.
And they will hold a committee, which will raise roughly close to about maybe 25 to 30,000 kwacha.
Yeah.
But say I want to start a business, nobody will show up. Like I think my wife is the most abused person in my life because all the things that I've had to go through, I have always had to, I go back to her. Hey, this is what happened. This is how ruthless the environment is. If you thought that you are going to be having a child play here, it's not like that. Yeah, it's Craig telling me you guys are work. There's nothing you guys are doing there.
Shark.
Just give me your website and let's move on here. It's not personal. Competition is good.
So what exactly was going through your mind?
We're finished. Because sometimes I think we are on two extremes. One extreme is that don't share your idea at all. People will steal it. The other extreme is maybe what somebody may think I'm saying, which is share everything. That is also dumb.
And I personally believe that nobody can ever execute any idea the same way that you would if you're the one that came up with it.
One time like this, make it pop like this, make it knock like. One time like this, make it pop like this, knock like this, make it drop. One time like this.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Mentorship Uncomplicated. I'm your host, Mwale. As I mentioned on the previous episode, if you happen to watch it, I mentioned that I normally learned a lot through the stories I have with my mentors. Any lessons I picked up were through great and entertaining stories, and I figured I would do the same to allow you to learn. Like I mentioned, any success is a byproduct of two things: the people and the process. And the conversations I have with the people will allow you to understand the process, and I'm here to do that one more time. So I'm joined I'm joined by a great, exciting person who happens to be a very good friend of mine. His name is Mr. Gilbert Mwale. He's the founder and the CEO of Farmhouse, formerly known as EMCICA. And we're just going to be having a great conversation, and hopefully through the stories, you'll be able to pick one or two things. So Mr. Gilbert, welcome to Mentorship Uncomplicated.
Thank you very much, Wallace, and thank you very much to people who are going to be watching this.
Yes.
It's a pleasure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Gilbert, tell us what you do.
Well, that's a very interesting question.
Yeah.
Because I do quite a number of things. Firstly, I would say that I run a company called EMCICA, which was called EMCICA initially, then birthed another company called Farmhouse.
Yeah.
And right now, a majority of our work is done through that. We are into agri-tech, which means we are building technology for the agricultural space. And so that is one side of things. And then also I get to do other activities like, I'm in ministry and, run a ministry called Worldwide Gospel Missions.
Okay.
And in that, because of my love for entrepreneurship, we do that with my wife. We have created what is called Agape Business Network.
Okay.
And the idea there is simply just discipling business people to understand how that, it's just sometimes not prayer by itself that works. You also need to have some knowledge, some wisdom, some skill, combine all that, and probably you'll be able to get the results you want to get.
And of course, put in some work.
That's the whole idea. So the idea is just trying to make sure that, someone just doesn't think that by just sitting somewhere in church, somehow your business will grow.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work like that. There are principles and laws that need to be followed on a consistent basis. Failure will come along the way, but you succeed as you go on. And we just want to make sure that everybody is aware of that. So we get to do that once in a while. We travel out whenever necessary to a certain church or certain grouping. And then we also make our own groups. So people can come in. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Okay, so as an entrepreneur myself,
Yeah.
I mean, entrepreneurs probably have some of the best stories.
I hope I do.
Yeah.
I just think it's less life living it,
Yeah, and when we're just having a conversation an hour ago, I asked you a question that I'm going to ask you now. And it would be nice if you tell the story the same way that you told it, because it was a very interesting story.
Yeah.
Why farming? Why did you wake up and say, okay, I want to focus on agriculture?
Yeah. And just like I said, farming is a very interesting space because I was born in a place called Chapter, which is in the eastern part of Zambia. And one of the biggest activities that side, almost everybody is doing agriculture. And primarily they are either growing maize, soybeans and stuff like that, or beans itself, groundnuts. And then also for those who are trying to, in their minds, go slightly commercial, they'll add in things like tobacco, cotton, and the likes. So when I was born, I come from a family where my dad was born in the village first, Lundazi. And then when he gets slightly older, maybe primary school or something, because of losing his dad, he leaves the village. So he spent most of the time farming there while going to school. So farming for him is like default. So as he gets into town, grows up in town finally, we are coming in as the first crew that is, non-village born. Yeah. But because we're being born to somebody who has come from that background, he inculcates the idea of farming. So we start going to the farm. He makes sure he has a farm around there while doing his work. So we would be going to the farm a number of times. And when you're very small, your responsibility is maybe just to go and have fun there, but you're just seeing people work. And as you're growing more, responsibility starts getting added. Today you're applying fertilizer. Next time you are the one who's like planting. Yeah. Then bit by bit, next time when you grow older enough, you are the one making the lines in the field, because my dad just felt like, hey, we have got enough boys in the house, we're not hiring a tractor. Yeah. That was the whole idea. Like, you guys are gonna get the job done. Yeah. So we start doing that. So that is the environment I was in. But what is going on is that I get to appreciate. So dad at that point was doing both maize and tobacco. And the understanding was tobacco was not smoking, but growing them. So when he's growing tobacco, I'm watching that. And in my mind, I'm thinking, he gotta be making money out of this stuff. Like, he should be making a lot of money out of this. That is just my thought line. Yeah. Why? Because when he does the thing, he would buy stuff. When he does the thing, he bought a vehicle, And in the hood, there are very few people who are doing that. So I'm like,
he's cashing out.
He's cashing out pretty good out of this thing, and let's see how it goes. Yeah. But along the way, I also get to see the work that is in, because we never got to participate in the growing of tobacco. It was just on the maize side. Yeah. Because for the tobacco, you needed a lot of expertise. So I saw him experience a lot of challenges, problems with workers. They were a mess, like serious issues. He tried to work, he changed. Okay, now I need to go get them from the village. Okay, I need to go, maybe in town there a problem. Maybe it's...
What kind of issues was he facing with these workers?
It's just, and I see them even today where a worker feels entitled. Yeah. Like they need to be given food. They need to be given their salary. They also need to be taken care of. So they're really not spending a salary on anything, but then they're spending most of the time drinking, and then fighting and then they want a raise which doesn't add up. Interestingly, those issues. So he tried to get them from Malawi, tried to get them from this side, nothing.
That's crazy.
It was just and then the second issue was challenges I was having around the farm. There was a little bit of stories around all these superstitions of witchcraft and all that stuff. So it was crazy as well. So he's battling all that. So for me, I can see that. But then the work that goes into growing tobacco is real as well. Yeah. It's a very strenuous crop. So I would see him go through all the hard work. And then when he reaches the end, in my head, because I would see the tobacco in the field, it looking green. Big leaves. I'm like, we're cashing in. That is my mind. We're cashing in again, Yeah. Reach the end, he dries it up, puts it in his bales, takes it to the place where when he comes back, because he would never go with us. Yeah. Yeah, because maybe we'll be at school, whatever. So in the evening, I'm just waiting to come and hear the story. Dad comes back, he's like, yeah, man, he's complaining. And I'm like, oh, what's the problem? He's like, no, those guys, they undercut me and stuff like that. And that would happening almost every single year.
Every 6 months.
Every 6 months of each year, he'll be complaining how guys undercut him. So in my head, I was thinking, okay, I saw that stuff looked great. Yeah. So it's possible they're undercutting him, but either ways, whatever they're undercutting, whatever he gets out is still big in my head. It's still big. When I had conversations with him when I grew up, I finally realized, man, that was some bad outcomes. Really, really bad outcomes for that long of a period.
How long did you do this for?
Man, that's like 7 years, 8 years, 10 years. I mean, all the way until I think Dad only get to stop that, I think, a little bit later in life. But this is something that even our family, some of our family members, like back that side, are still doing until today.
Yeah.
Some of them are making big money out of it, but
Still
a
from
majority,
tobacco.
yes, a majority are not, and they don't know it.
Okay.
Do you understand? Like that's the way the issue is. Like they don't know that they're actually, to a certain degree, wasting time.
Yeah.
And that is where the problem began for me. Because then I started hating this whole entire activity now. The whole entire farming business and all those things. I actually hated it. And I told myself, you know what? Whatever I do, when I have the opportunity to study, I am going very far away from this whole entire activity.
From agriculture.
From agriculture. This is not the space I want to be in, So as soon as I got the opportunity, I went to study some other stuff. I went to just do computer science and all those things. In my mind, I was like, I want to become Bill Gates.
Yeah.
I was telling my best friend, you know what? What are we going to do? Let's just become Bill Gates. What did Bill Gates do? It's a computer. I was like, fine. That's the way we go.
Bill Gates it is.
Bill Gates it is. But something I didn't add to this story, which I'll try to keep it as short as possible. Sometimes you don't know how things choose you.
Yeah.
You don't know how things choose you. But early on in life, when I was still way much younger, around me, there was very little computers.
Yeah.
But I actually had access to computers.
Okay.
Funny enough, my mom had a job where they had a center, these NGOs.
Yeah.
They were bringing in, ICT and stuff like that. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I happened to have been at the core of that. So I would go to the youth center and play games there. And it's from the games that the interest sparked.
Yeah.
By the time I was finishing my high school, I was never taught, computers in a school. But while in school, I paid tuitions to a teacher so that I could learn how to use Word. And one would ask me, like, why? Why are you learning that stuff? There was no good reason. I never thought in my mind this thing will be important in the future. No. But I learned Excel, I learned PDF, I learned PowerPoint, I learned all that stuff in that moment. So when I'm finally having this conversation with my buddy to say, look, what else can we do, man? Agriculture is out. These other things are out. What do we do with our grades?
Yeah.
This is how we take off to this direction. And I got the opportunity to study in Namibia.
Okay.
And it was great. So circling back to agriculture, as we return and I finished my degree, I finished my master's in India.
Yeah.
I began to say, maybe technology is good, because I saw it in India.
Yeah.
To say people are using tech to solve problems.
And I'm sure it was pretty advanced there.
Heavy advanced. What amazed me was that India is so big, like just one town is so big, and it's not as advanced as we may expect it to be.
Yeah.
In terms of the streets are just like here, but their logistics was working.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Like it was working. Somehow they found you.
Yeah.
When you ordered an item, they found you.
Find you.
So like this thing is working here,
Yeah.
But there are certain nuances of things. So I started ordering fake stuff, like not fake stuff. I would order an item that I really didn't need.
Yeah.
And then when the guy comes to deliver it, because I want to understand the value chain, I would say, I don't want it. I don't need it. There's a problem with
smart.
it. That there's a problem with it. I need to return it. So the guy would tell me, no, we don't return it through us. We return it online again. So I'm like, why? He's like, no, we are not part of that company. We're just like, oh, great. So they're not the same thing. So I go back online, order it. Then the guy goes like, you need to bring it to the warehouse. So I'm like, oh, great stuff. So I go to the warehouse. I go and see the whole entire thing. I tell the guy, look, dude, I brought this thing, but I also wanted to see how things look like in here. So the guy starts showing me around and all those things. So in my head, the thought line was, let me just franchise what these guys are doing.
Yeah.
That's my first thought.
That's after you came back from India.
Yeah, in my head, I'm like, let me go tell them, let me get this, what you're doing here. Can you expand to Zambia? And I just become the guy. I didn't think of, I want to be the entrepreneur.
Yeah.
No. Can I just work with you? We take this to Zambia. But I looked for their office. I took off to go to Bangalore, which is 3 hours away. I don't know anybody. And Bangalore is huge. And I just had Googled their location.
Yeah.
And I arrived there and I found that they had moved.
Uh-huh.
And the only thing that was remaining there was an upstairs building, which was belonging to them, which is just for warehousing.
Wow.
Their real office was not there anymore. It had gone somewhere else. So now I couldn't figure out where that was. So that's how I returned and ended my journey of franchising and concluded, you know what? I'll have to solve this problem myself.
So was your plan to approach them and see how they can you can franchise?
Yeah.
Be part of them basically, but in Zambia.
Like, guys, can I take this to Z?
Quite smart too.
Do you understand? I don't even know what that was. I don't even know whether they're going to allow me in.
When was this?
This is 2015.
Okay.
Yeah, 2014, 2015.
Okay.
Yeah, at this point, obviously, I've read a book from Google. And it's telling me I'm thinking I'm in Silicon Valley at this point in time. Yeah. I have this Silicon Valley idea that, you know, like stuff just happens. You go somewhere and people agree and you can expand and stuff like that. So I have that idea, but then I'm like, okay, maybe we need to go and solve the problem. I read about Alibaba, Jack Ma. I'm like, we need to go do that in Zambia. So I come back here. I'm talking to a friend of mine, someone I've grown up with for a very long time, Elton, you know. So I'm like, dude, we need to do something. So it's okay, come back, we do it. So I come back, I finish my master's, so I return. And as we are interrogating, so we say, you know, it has blown up in India, it has blown up in China. Let's blow up this issue of SMEs here as well.
Yeah.
So let's make a platform where we bring, instead of Facebook, let's use our own platform. We bring all SMEs on board. That was the first idea we had. Bring all SMEs, just exactly how Alibaba is. Yeah. Bring all SMEs on board. And our thought line was the guys in Kalingalinga doing chairs, tables, gates, and all these other things. Let's bring them on and help them. Because, look, they only expect somebody to buy something if you drive through.
Yeah.
They can't market. They can't advertise. They need somebody to help them.
Yeah.
That would be us. So that was number one idea. Number two idea was, when we do this and we win, down the road, 5 years from now, we also add agriculture. Yeah. Because that's where we come from.
Yeah.
So let's solve that problem later. We didn't think much about it. We started pursuing. So being in Silicon Valley, remember, in my mind, great, this is a business idea. It's amazing.
That's where you are in your head.
Yeah, in my mind, I'm in Silicon Valley and that's how things work.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Because in Silicon Valley, you can have a great idea and you can go and sit with people and they'll fund it.
Yeah, of course.
You know, with likes, you know, and that stuff like that. Okay, maybe I'm watering it down, but it looks partially like that from our outside.
Yeah.
So I go like, that's the whole idea. We need an investment because our plan is clear. So I go and meet some people with my partner. We tell them, look, we've got this great idea. It's an e-commerce service and stuff like that to do ABCD. Now, at this point, remember, I'm thinking that the infrastructure that was in India that I interfaced with is exactly here.
It's available.
Yeah, that's my thinking. So all I just need to do is a website. Yeah. That's my thinking. So I'm like, look, I have this great idea. We have this great idea. Can you fund it? So the guy looks at us. And these are very prominent people right now, you know, like they are sitting
at that time or now?
Then even now, right now they're even more prominent. They are sitting in prominent places. The guy gives me a very friendly advice. You know what, guys? I think I like what you're doing, but I think it's too new. There's really nothing much you have done. It's still an idea. Can you show me something? So I record that statement as, we're like this. I can fund it. Yeah. But go do something about it.
You're an MVP.
Get moving. So I'm like, we're coming back, man. Coming back. We go. After a while, I think of while researching what other funders exist, I see another NGO which is funding SMEs, and in my head, I'm like, let me go there as well.
Okay.
I go there.
Are there NGOs that fund SMEs?
Yeah.
As what? Do they give you debt? Do they give you, is it equity?
Grants.
Yes. In Zambia?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, there is quite a lot of them. It just matters what. So how I can talk about that, because the idea is you have to align yourself around certain projects you're trying to achieve.
Social impact,
yes. And we have become pretty good at that.
Genius at social impact, saving the world.
Yeah, you know, like we've become pretty good at that. We've gotten a lot of support, a lot of partnership, a lot of collaboration around that as well.
Yeah.
But it didn't start out that sweet, because the first time I went to these guys and we presented this solution. You know what? We've got this tool we want to do. It's gonna help SMEs.
Yeah.
And we know you guys deal with SMEs. So they're like, yeah, we do actually. We have a lot of them that we work with. What are you planning to do? No, look, we're going to put a platform. Because we knew that they were trying to use a certain platform which was failing. So we said, look, but we have got a one which is going to just be designated just for that.
Yeah.
SMEs will be there. People will come through there and they'll see what is there, and then they'll buy it, and we'll help it get to move to where the buyer is. The guy said, "Wow, this is brilliant stuff." I'm like, "Wow, great stuff. Somebody likes this." He's like, "Yes, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this. I love this so much. I'm gonna give you guys 2,000 SMEs." I'm like, "Boy, we just started off with enough clients.
You made it.
We made it, man." And then the guy goes like, "By the way, I'm also going to try to hook up, see how you guys can get financial support.
Yeah.
So, board is sitting next week. I want you guys to come and present this right there. They will love it. And I think we can spend some money on you guys." I'm like, "Man, this is what I was looking for." I go back home, go tell my partner, "Bro, we are sorted for life.
You are.
We are sorted for life, man." So my buddy's like, "Okay, let's wait
has
for
to
this."
be the easiest startup.
This will be the easiest start of our life, man.
Yeah.
1 week passes, bro. Nothing. No response. Waiting, man. Let me not call him. He's a busy guy. Let me wait.
Yeah.
Second week, it's about to go. I'm like, let me reach out, man. I'm like, "Hey, man, we agreed on everything." No. Yeah. Now I know that at this point the meeting has passed. So I had to go back and just go and visit him. I said, "Man, it's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The meeting passed. You're not saying anything.
Yeah.
What's going on?" "No, the meeting happened, and it just happened abruptly. I couldn't call you in. It was so fast. But this thing, I think I'll hook you up. Just give me time." So me, I'm like, okay, maybe just like the first guy, he wants us to make some movement.
Yeah.
So I go and lobby. Me and my partner put in a bit of our funds. We go and also talk to one of our uncles. At this point, my wife was still my girlfriend.
Yeah.
So we hook up some cash for
So how was she?
She was not here.
Oh, she wasn't here.
She was
but
still
of
in
course. But of course, you used to tell her what was going on.
Yeah.
Did you get any support from her?
Yeah, we got. How much did she give us?
No, not financially, but moral support.
Now, at that point in time, yes. Today, all the moral support.
Okay.
Like I think my wife is the most abused person in my life, because all the things that I've had to go through, I have always had to, like, I go back to her. Hey, this is what happened.
Yeah.
She knows everything in the business in and out and all that kind of stuff. So I think lately I try to reduce what I bring, but I think it's too late.
Yeah.
Because I've gone through the hard part already, and that baggage has already been thrown on her. Yeah. So I try to ease it off, but that's clearly it. At that time, she gave us a little bit of money. I think maybe about, I can't remember, it's 500 or 1,000. I can't remember.
Kwacha.
Yes.
Okay.
Then my parents again another 500 to 1,000 kwacha. Then another uncle, and we were going to them. Remember, I'm in Silicon Valley, so
family and friends.
Yes.
Raise.
But here's the interesting thing.
Yeah.
We went there with a story of, because we're in Silicon Valley, equity.
Yeah.
So buy equity.
So you were trying to sell equity to who?
To family and friends.
Really?
Yeah. So they were buying equity. My partner's elder sister gave us a 500 kwacha. But the first person we went to was an uncle.
How much equity were you giving these guys for 500 kwacha?
It was very little.
How did you do any valuation at that time?
No, man, there was nothing like that. At that point in time, we're just saying, "Look, guys, just give us some money, but you have a share. You have a portion of the business. Not like this is free money."
So they never asked?
No, nobody ever asked, like, what percentage of that is that? Nothing. They just went like, "Okay, fine. At least," well, I honestly don't think that they were thinking about the shares.
Yeah.
I just think they were thinking about, this is my nephew. At least he's trying to make a good living. He's thinking in his head. You understand? Like, let me support him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not begging me for money for a shoe or whatever it is. So our uncle gave us a 2.5.
Yeah.
2,500 kwacha, to be specific.
Yeah.
And that was our first capital in the
Seed
business.
investment.
Seed investment.
Yeah.
So we get that 2.5, and since we have partners who are about to give us 2,000 SMEs, I'm
set
like,
for life.
because I'm a computer scientist. I can code this thing, but I'm like, we don't have time because it's just the two of us.
Yeah.
So, dude, you know what? Let's just get a website that we can customize and bring it over. So we worked with some guys in India. We got a system.
Yeah.
We got it. I went back now. I'm excited now. There's nothing remaining. Sir, these items are ready.
Yeah.
Can we have the 2,000 SMEs. He said, what do you mean? Like the 2,000 SMEs you promised us. No, we can't just easily do that. What we need to do now is first, we need to do a focus group. I'm like, focus group? What's that? He's like, no, we have to find out first of all what they need and what. I'm like, we never spoke about that. You just said you give us these people. And I didn't even know what a focus group is.
You didn't even know what a focus group.
Yeah. At this point, I don't know what a focus group is. So he tells me, no, just go and read about it and send me an email when you are ready to do it. Tell me when you are ready to do it, like which day.
One time like this, make it pop like this, make it knock like. One time like this, make it pop like this, knock like this, make it drop.
And I'm like, why are we doing this? But he's like, no, just go read about it. So I was like, okay, anyway, it's a small hurdle. Let's go find out what the focus group is. In my mind, I'm still optimistic, but I can feel that something is going off, it's almost falling off our hands. But I'm like, let me not be the cause.
Yeah.
Let me go figure out what focus group is. So I figure it out. After one day, I write back an email, dude, we are ready. This day, can we do this thing? No answer. Oh, man, we sent a thing. No answer. Like, anyway, I don't know what I'm going to do, but let's start figuring out what to do. So I start talking to SMEs in Kalingalinga, negotiating if they can come on board,
So
taking pictures.
How was that onboarding process? What were you telling them?
That we
Because
want to
I've
help,
gone- because I've-
want to
reason
help
why
the
I'm
market.
asking-
Yeah.
It's because I did the same with restaurants. When
Yeah.
I was launching a free delivery,
Yeah.
I had to go to them and tell them we're doing this thing. So there were people existing in the market, but they never really did it 100% digitally how we did it.
Yeah.
So me, when I was approaching them, restaurants, I was telling them I will not be taking orders offline, like on phone, and they couldn't see it. So I'm trying to understand how you did it with them, and the difference is the level of exposure that at least some of these restaurants have, and compared to what you were going through,
Yes.
is different.
Yes, very, very different. So they didn't have smartphones. A majority of them, they didn't. Some didn't know how to read. Some didn't know how to read. So yeah, it was I saw those issues. I
Yeah.
saw them, but I was like, anyway, we'll try and control certain issues. We'll take pictures. So I started taking pictures on their behalf with my tablet.
Okay.
Yeah, I started taking pictures. I have a lot of such pictures. A
Of
lot.
desks.
Yeah, desks, tables, chairs, flower pots. You can name it.
Yeah.
I would take a lot of that stuff. So we started uploading to the platform now,
Yeah.
to the website, and all those issues. And we're trying to help just any SME. So I remember one friend who was also a fashion designer. She had clothes. We hooked her up. Just bring that stuff over. Now, at this point, somebody amazing, Lulu Hangala,
Yeah.
she does a great thing. I think she was working with Mag and Bean at that point.
Yeah.
So she does an advert to say, we're doing a Mag and Bean meetup, and anyone who shares a very interesting story about their entrepreneurship, on my Facebook page, if you get the vote, then you can be part of this great meeting with amazing people.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I need to start getting into entrepreneurship spaces. You understand?
Yeah.
Huh? So I apply, write a very, I don't know, I just said stuff, all those things. I think she was like, wow, I won. I go that side, and I do find that, it's one of my first few social events entrepreneurship-wise.
Yeah.
So I'm finding a lot of interesting faces, people I see. But at this point, prior to this, to prepare, remember that I had read about Google, I had read about the Amazons, I had read about, what are you talking about? Alibaba. But I also had to acclimatize myself to the local environment.
Yeah.
So I had started reading about these people in the space of e-commerce in Zambia and digital marketing and stuff like that. So I had studied about certain individuals, and I started holding them from a distance as my mentors.
Yeah.
Because I need to learn from them what worked. So interestingly, I go and find these people all there. And Mag 44 at that time was happening as well. And
How
it
many
still
people
is,
was there?
I think roughly about maybe 20 to 30.
Where did you meet?
At Mag and Bean Levy.
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 That was a while back. Yeah.
Yes,
I
it was a
remember
while back.
it. Yeah, that was
I don't think it's there. Is it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
So I was Mag and Bean Levy. So So we are there. I'm just looking at it. I'm awestruck, starstruck, looking at all these people like, man, I know this guy, Mag, I know, I've seen, no, I know them, but I've seen them being, and I then bump into the people that are my supposed distant mentors due to what they have done.
Yeah.
And I reach out as a fan and a possible mentee. You understand? Huh? And I go like, guys, it's amazing the work you're doing. And it goes like, and who are you? And who are you? I'm like, I'm Gilbert from IMSEEker. We are trying to do ABCD. I'm excited about all these things. We're trying to do ABCD and just disruptive space, just like your guys are doing. It's like, oh, by the way, I just want to tell you that we are in the same space. We are coming in. The people that you went to.
Yeah.
Now there's being, there's when your idea is gotten, there's, tech business, you can't patent certain things.
Yeah. Exactly.
At that point, I know that you can't patent a e-commerce website. You can't patent a lot of different stuff, because it's just generic.
Yeah.
Yeah. But why I am so aware that I was actually duped to a certain degree is because I was taught. Do you understand? I was taught in my face, like, hey, guy, look, the people that you gave the proposal to, I've been in this space longer. We have been, us as an organization, we've been in this space longer than you guys are new. You're about to just try out an idea.
Yeah.
So they got your proposal and gave it to us so that we execute it because we have experience and you guys don't.
How big was that company at that time?
Big.
Okay. In relation to what? Big in relation to operations, geography?
Everything. I mean, everything was working. Yeah, everything was working. Like, everything was working. So, but I know that at that point, the area of our business, they had not managed to do it. So I knew
Which
that
was the marketplace?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they had not managed to do that. So I knew I was coming with something different from the people in the space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hence my comfortability to go and speak to them. But I was told clearly, forget it. They have approached us. And what concerned me was, first of all, they approached us and they have given us your work. We will get it. We will do it without you. And so just be aware that we're getting into your space. So be ready for more competition. But just understand, man, it's not personal. Competition is good. I was like,
they've got resources. They've got money to do.
And then he added to say, and we are getting funded.
But the same guys that stole your idea stole.
I'm like, whoa. And he did mention figures. I can't remember, but in the ranges of about 2M.
Okay. Back then.
Yeah. Somewhere in that range. I stand to be corrected. So I was like, first of all, and then the weird thing is this. Remember I said that I'd gone to 2 places.
Yeah.
Right? So here is now the culmination now. This individual who I love today, I loved then, I still love today, we're good buddies, said in my face that, first of all, the proposal, which means I now knew, the proposal went to the NGO, right?
Yeah.
And then he says, but also where you had also gone earlier. So everybody that I had gone to, everything culminated back to this guy.
Yeah.
Everybody knew. So for me, I'm concerned that how is the ecospace working like this? That somebody has presented something to you in privacy, and you're pushing it over to somebody else. So I would have expected you just, if my idea is work, just tell me, man, that's a bad idea, forget it. Are you saying that?
Yeah.
But to float it back to somebody else, I'm like, anyway, that's a space.
Yeah.
That's how I figured out that's a space.
I'm sure now, since you saw it being shared with these guys, automatically you knew that the idea was worth something.
That was also a validation to say you are thinking right.
Yeah.
You understand that? You are thinking right. But I can tell you, in the moment,
it
was a serious issue. I had to go back. At that moment, me and my partner were living in my parents' house, and we were living in my bedroom. He would come by and go back. So when he was there, I went back. Our plan was on the door. It showed, starting with SMEs. When we win this thing, we get to agriculture. I told him, bro, forget the SMEs. And then forget the
SMEs are
SMEs.
gone. There's something I want to understand
Let's
because
move on.
because I've gone through this myself maybe like 1 trillion times.
Yeah.
The drive from the bargain bin to your house, what exactly was going through your mind
We're finished.
before you even started?
Yeah, I'm thinking, but I have a lot of more tenacity than that. So my thought line was also that we need to find ourselves in this space in a position where I knew that there are things I knew they didn't know. Do you understand? There's a certain level of detail I'd prepared that they didn't have, and I proved it over time.
That's a very valid point because, for example, like most people, most entrepreneurs normally say that they're scared of sharing their ideas because they're scared.
No. You heard me when I was on the call there.
Yeah.
When someone called me when we were chatting before we got on this to this recording, when someone called me, I was telling them my idea. I said, look, this year we want to do A, B, C, D. And now I stated out all of it.
Yeah.
And I pass it over to you.
Which is a very important point because I think a lot of entrepreneurs really don't have that, they don't share their idea because they believe it will be stolen. And I personally believe that nobody can ever execute any idea the same way that you would if you're the one that came up with it.
Now I can show you like with practicality the depth of that statement and its truth.
Okay.
Yes. Because that was 2016.
So now we transition from AMCCA, the marketplace that has been stolen.
So we kept the website.
Yeah.
Shifted the product.
Okay.
That we're concentrating on. So instead of going for the SMEs, we then went the route of agric.
Okay.
So in that case, we thought now let's go for supply. We started interrogating why did we struggle where we were to do farming?
Yeah.
Why did we fail to make money? And I found 4 things. Now I won't go too much on that. I found 4 things. Number 1 was a lack of quality input, access to quality inputs.
Okay.
The reason for that was that the majority of suppliers of agricultural inputs were in Lusaka, either manufacturers or international distributors.
Okay.
Based in Lusaka. So the only product that they were very comfortable, that until today, a majority of them are still comfortable pushing out very easily, is maize seed and the fertilizer. Are you seeing that? So what happens then is that is why if you take notice where we were, the main thing we were growing was maize, because it was easy to push it out because that's what everybody eats. So I realized that for people to do other things that have got value, things that have got more money, it was difficult for this supplier. So we needed to now turn this platform now to make an environment for them to reach the whole country now.
Yeah.
That was a thrust. I'll stop there and then quickly rush over an issue to bring this point on this. The website, we kept it. After a while, this team failed to do what we had proposed. They were given a year.
How long did it take them to try?
Within a year. Within 8 months.
Okay. They started already though.
They were trying this, trying that.
With the same SMEs.
Yeah.
That's crazy, yeah?
Yes. They tried it out and it failed. I don't know whether they got the money. I also know that the person who had done that at the organization also was released.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was on our reasons about us because we never reported this anywhere. By the way, the only people that know what I'm saying right now are a handful, maybe 10 people. You understand that? Including now everybody who's listening.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But we never said this to anybody or anywhere. We just went back, re-strategized in the team and said, guys, we just need to reposition and progress. We're not moving backwards. How I know that this, your idea is yours to the keeping. And if you, who's uniquely designed to deliver it, does not do it, no one will ever do it the way you would have done it.
100%, I agree with you.
Somebody else can do it, can do something similar, but not the way you would have done it. Because come 3-4 years down the road, I was on the same table with the same brother of mine who had told me competition is just how competition is. And this time, they were now looking at buying my platform.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you
the only reason why we didn't say it, the deal wasn't good.
Would
The price was, I would have sold it. I wasn't good because I knew how to replicate it, so I would have just sold it.
And then started again.
Sorry, and just started again.
I remember, when was this? 2020.
Yeah.
I was making my first deck, my first pitch deck, because I wanted to start now approaching investors. And I remember the person that was helping me asked me a question. They were like, if you're offered money to sell this business, would you sell it? And I said yes. And he said that's the only reason why he agreed to work on the deck, because he's noticed that a lot of entrepreneurs hold on to, and then a good deal just passes you.
Yeah.
And
No, the guy gave me, we had a very, and this is why I say that.
Yeah.
I actually love that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the straightness, he talks straight, and also whenever he sees the necessity of like approaching you over an opportunity, I mean, he doesn't go around circles. He will just text you, hey man, what's up? Can I? And for me, I found that as a very non-Zambian kind of doing, because most Zambians who just go like as if they're your buddy and everything is okay, but they're doing something else. No, and that's not him. So I remember when he wanted our platform, because this is what happened.
Yeah.
Remember I said I got this platform from a team in India, right? So this
It was
platform,
just a website, right?
yeah,
Okay.
a marketplace,
Yeah.
powerful system. Yeah. So remember we raised 2.5. After we were given 3 months.
Kwacha.
Sorry, in Kwacha. Yes, 2,500 in Kwacha.
How much is that now in dollars? Is it like $20 or so?
Yeah.
Anyway, 10.
10, yeah. So now, when we were given a timeline that within 3 months we must pay the remaining 7,500 kwacha,
Yeah.
because the total was 10,000 kwacha.
Yeah.
So that is when now we started raising now from my girlfriend at the time, my mother, my brother's sister, and our own bit of savings, 7.5. We paid it out. We owned the website, but that license we got was not enough to remove the supplier's name on our platform.
So you got a license.
Yes.
When you were raising this money, the small amounts of money,
Yeah.
did it ever get to you that you're really struggling to raise such a small amount of money? Did you ever see it like that?
I think at that moment, what we were thinking of is that we have a dream and we are not connected to so many people who have got a lot of money, number one. And it's just an idea. So why does someone else need to believe us? Are you saying that? So the only people then is those around us. And for me, actually,
Yeah.
I think I was feeling like the opposite, that I'm winning, that even my uncle is willing to release that money. For me, it was a win. Like
2.5.
yeah, because look at this. Like there's always a joke in Zambia where people say that people will gather for a wedding.
Yeah.
And they will hold a committee, which will raise roughly close to about maybe 25 to 30,000 kwacha.
Yeah.
But say I want to start a business, nobody will show up.
Yeah.
It's a very rare thing. So for me, that was a flip.
It's everywhere. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So it was a flip that my girlfriend was my wife to be. She was my fiancée at that time. My mother, my uncle, my partner's sister, and a friend.
Yeah.
And a friend who was my classmate. This is not even like my closest buddy, but just somebody we were in good rapport with. And he was not even in Zambia. He was in Namibia.
Yeah.
And he was also willing. I'm like, well, guys, whatever, put it in there. They did. And it allowed us to create that MVP.
Yeah.
That platform we needed for us now to do the actual legwork at the bottom there.
Yeah.
And I remember what I said. So we couldn't remove the tagline. So what I did is that when this other team was now trying to overtake our work, had the opportunity, when they came to our platform, they saw our source of the system.
They went to the source.
They reached out. And now when I was being made that offer of being bought, the offer was, because that platform was like 10 grand, right? So the offer was now, okay, can I get this can we buy it from you at 17,000 kwacha?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, but look, it's been a year now. We've gained some traction. There are some people there.
Are you selling?
No. No.
So when you say there were people,
No, people like we had traffic. We had Google Analytics. and
people were
stuff like that.
viewing basically,
Yeah, I mean, people.
but
are
there were no
coming there.
conversions.
Remember, I said I'm in Silicon Valley, and in my head, traffic, views, all that stuff.
Bro, the GMV is what we're looking for. General merchandise value. You look
It's
from the
good.
top line.
Some-
Doesn't matter what it converts to.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm like, dude, and then there was also a sentiment that we had set. Say, look, we had worked at this thing. We have put. It took us a lot of work to get here.
Yeah.
So now at this point, I'm thinking we are bust. They have found our supplier. This is not funny. Are you saying that?
Yeah.
They have money, they have experience, then they have found our supplier of the system.
So how did they value that 17K? How did they get to that figure?
Somewhat to a certain degree, for me, I just feel like it was a partial disrespect.
Because I'm trying to understand. Because I mean, a valuation is a valuation. So if an investor or buyer is giving you a fee, they will say, you're giving you 17K because you've looked at your numbers, they look like this, like this, like this. Did they ever give you such an explanation?
No, and the conversation was, I'm just buying the platform, not your company. I just want the website. I don't. You guys are doing nothing there, so just give me the website. Just give me the website. So I asked myself a question because this guy had a great team, right?
Yeah.
He had devs, he had everything. So I'm thinking like, so this is what is now beginning to validate me more. You get the point? Huh?
Why did they want the website?
Yeah, I'm beginning to feel like, okay, first of all, you have found my supplier. You can get the same system.
Yeah.
And you have great team members. And you guys have experience. So why do you keep on coming back to this simple thing? So I realized, I think they're having some challenges to completely achieve this. And they have timelines given by the other people. So the question is, let's get a platform that already has stuff and we show it as a deliverable. Do you understand? So in hindsight, I've learned that that's the situation with NGOs. So now I go back to my team and I say, guys, we have an offer on the table. And then he told us, say, I'll give you 1% just as a goodwill. You can work for it.
Oh, man. How much are they going to give you?
1%.
1%?
Yes. We will retain 1% of whatever it is, but we will be working for it.
So you work for that 1%?
Yes, but it's goodwill.
This guy was clearly...
He
clearly thought it was a VC. That's how VCs negotiate.
Yeah, he was clearly telling me you guys are whack. Like there's nothing you guys are doing
like
there.
A shark.
Just give me your website and let's move on here.
One time like this, make it pop like this, make it knock like. One time like this, make it pop like this, knock like this.
So, and weirdly, I think my wife is the best person who would explain this because right now I would say that I love these guys, but most people would think you're lying.
Yeah.
But you need to hear it from my wife because I really do. Until today, there's just a love I have for these guys. Like it's like they were teaching me like this is how ruthless the environment is. If you thought that you are gonna be having a child play here, it's not like that. Wake up.
Business
you get the
is
point.
war. I keep telling people
Business is war. Be serious. So I'm and he's nice, sweet, and being frank about it. This is my offer. This is the situation. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? Let me go back and talk to the team. This is how I convened that our initial founder team, me, my partner, and our two other buddies. The moment I passed this news to them, my two other buddies just went like, I think we need to dip. I think there's nothing going on here. This is one of my friends booked out, and then my other friend remained, and we were there with my other friend. So like, what do we do, guys? So I'm like, we can't sell the system. I think the offer is too low. Something better.
You did give them a counter?
No, I asked him. I said, I mean, can you make it a better offer? I mean, because...
What are you looking for?
For me, I think anything 100K would have been okay.
Not bad, eh?
Yeah.
You could have used that 100K to do something else.
To start something else, yeah. Like, I mean, even the same website would have still bought it again.
Did they have the 100K? Them?
I think they did because they had quite a lot of money, yeah. They had quite a lot of money because they were backed by financiers. You know, so they had that capacity. So they were backed, first of all, by the NGO, but they're also backed by financiers.
Yeah.
You understand? So they had the capacity to do that. You know, so yeah. So for me, that is so when I say that someone can't really get the full idea, that's what it means. Because by 1 year's time, that whole entire project was shut down completely, and the NGO turned left, and it today is looking in another direction of how they do things. But it showed me that if you stick to your guns and, execute things the way you wanted to execute them, obviously with improvements, changes, because we did have to change, from SMEs. But guess what? That hit, why I also love them more is because the question you asked me, how easy was it working with the clientele you're about to work with?
Yeah.
I found out afterwards, when we had shifted into agric, that it was going to be a big, bad idea.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to work. We were going to have problems with adjustments of products on the platform because people don't have contact, don't have phones. The whole entire process was going to be difficult.
The ecosystem didn't.
The ecosystem wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Logistics.
Payment systems was just a crazy issue. Logistics. So what I got to finally learn afterwards is that for the people in India, when you're an e-commerce company, you don't need to own the logistics. There's a logistics arm that is already there.
Course, yeah.
They have the whole entire value process of collecting cash on your behalf, delivering on your behalf, because there's a lot of cash on delivery that side.
Yeah.
Heavy. All that stuff was there. So I didn't know that those organizations are not the one thing. So, but these are lessons that I got to learn that, but let me say this. Let me put a disclaimer, because sometimes I think we are on two extremes. One extreme is that don't share your idea at all, people will steal it. The other extreme is maybe what somebody may think I'm saying, which is share everything. That is also dumb.
Yeah.
That is also dumb. Today, what I do is that I know who I'm talking to, first of all, and I also understand what level of detail I must tell you.
Yeah.
There are things in the process of the idea that I can't tell you, which I know are a problem factor for everybody to figure out, and I've figured them out.
Yeah.
I won't tell you those ones. So I'll tell you clearly, you know what, because I know that everybody right now is trying to figure out markets, right? Markets for farmers.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, we're trying to also figure out markets for farmers in the poultry space. We're trying to help them, make sure that their products are bought. Because right now we sell them inputs.
Yeah.
So if someone is buying day-old chicks, feed and vaccines, we have that whole entire shebang. We've solved it. And then we can either deliver it to you or you can come and collect at our store.
Okay.
And then second, so you can use our mobile app or you can use our website and you can walk into our store.
Okay.
And then secondly, we also have an expert where there's a subscription model where you can subscribe to our services. We will support you. We'll come through to your house, show you how to do your farming, train your workers and all that stuff. So that stuff is going on so well.
How is that working, the subscription stuff?
Amazing. I mean, if you go on our app right now, there's a portion where it says request for consultants, like for support. So this as well is the issue. Like when you think about where I came from, where we're farming crops, right? For you to shift from growing maize to keeping maybe chickens, right?
Yeah.
There's a knowledge gap there, number one. But the second bigger one is that even maize itself, we were not optimum producing it.
Yeah.
So you find that the tonnage we are producing was far less than what is expected from a hectare. So it means that you're losing again. So what we have started doing is that we started training people. So when you subscribe to our subscription, now why do we cause people to subscribe? It's because consultation for animal support, livestock and poultry, you'll be charged anything above 650 kwacha to 850 kwacha.
Per visit?
Per visit.
Okay.
Now imagine you need 2 visits. So that's like 1.6 or 1.2. So
how often are these? How frequent are they, the visits?
People in the poultry space, man, are having problems because a lot of them get into the business not as a business, but either a hobby or they saw somebody making money out of it. Like it's 2 things. Like either they go like, you know what, I just need to, I need a side hustle.
Just like a lot of businessmen.
Yeah, I need a side hustle. So let me start keeping some chickens, Or they saw their friend who keeps chickens make money out of it. So they go like, I'm going to do it as well.
Yeah.
So that's causing a little of a challenge because now what starts happening is that somebody gets a batch of like 200 chickens, 300 chickens, and 30, 50, 100 are dying. And he still comes back. He doesn't know what's going on because he's using his money from his salary to restock. So he doesn't realize that he's losing money. So we are trying to help farmers say, no. A business, this chicken rearing you're doing is a business by itself. When you fund it with capital, the capital must grow to refinance and grow and for you to make profit out of it. So we start helping with record keeping, teaching that. We start helping with, stuff like, biosecurity. Your workers, are they dressed rightly? Is your equipment rightly set? Are you doing these activities on a weekly basis? Then we also automate reminders. You need to vaccinate now.
Yeah.
Or you need to do this now. So there's in the app Farmhouse on Play Store, what we have done is that now we have added that now, like a poultry manager. So it's going to be helping people to also do recording. So initially we're helping them do it with books, with a paper, but now we're also putting it in the app for them to be able to do it. I think before the end of this month, that should be ready for them to use.
Okay.
Why are we doing this, bro?
Okay.
That's a key issue.
Okay, before you get to that point, there's something you mentioned and I figure it's something we should discuss about.
Yeah.
You mentioned that most of these people are either starting it as a hobby or a side hustle.
Yeah.
And when Afri delivery grew, you notice a lot of delivery companies mushrooming left, right, and center. Because of course they saw that, or they assumed that it was very successful. And then maybe 1 year down the line, we noticed that a lot of these small companies were now coming to us to absorb them into our existing user base or whatever we had.
Yeah.
And then if you go back to the roots, down to the roots, do you feel which I personally feel, there's a lack of alignment? Maybe it comes from the educational level where people are not really aware of how to go about starting a business and what they should look for and so on and so forth. And what do you think could be done? Because it's a big problem. There's a lot of businesses that are starting and failing because of that specific reason. And there are a lot of businesses that can't afford to sustain that failure. Because, for example, we've been lucky to still be in business. But of course, the failures you've had, you can recover, but not many people are able to recover. What do you think about that? What's your opinion about it?
It's a very interesting concern. I'll start with one statement that because I've been able with our team to run a business with nothing, I do not consider no cash in the business as the end of the business. Yeah. So that's something that somebody should take a thought over. Why? Because organizations are closed because there's no liquid anymore.
Yeah.
For us, that is not a definition of closure. We can't close because there's no liquid. We've been there so many times before. And we have risen from there. But stepping backwards to the issue that you have mentioned, which is the people that are just doing stuff, do they have enough education and all those things? I also think, yes, to a certain degree, they lack a certain level of entrepreneurship understanding.
Yeah.
And I think that shows up, not that everybody who will go to school will get it right, but I think it helps. I had the opportunity in that same journey that I mentioned. So when I saw this happening, we started the business 2016 October.
Yeah.
By January, February, I won my first pitching competition. And in my mind, I was like, man, what's happening, man? We've won a pitching competition and we haven't even gone anywhere. But I went to an incubator, Bongo Hive.
Yeah.
There was another competition. I didn't go there to get trained. I saw a competition.
You like competitions. I've seen you in a number of competitions.
In my mind, I'm like, we won the other one.
Yeah.
We're winning this one as well.
Yeah.
When I got there, I was smoked.
Why?
In the competition,
what was different?
I was smoked this time because the other competition was people from anywhere. This competition, I found that people who had been in the incubation for the last 5 months, 6 months, were part of the competition.
Oh.
Do you understand? So the other competition had just anybody. The people you're talking about. I saw Afri Delivery making money out of bikes. Let me go do it as well. I saw let me go do it as well. That's the kind of people. But there were some of them who were serious, but a lot of them was just really like that.
Yeah.
There was no level of entrepreneurship training. All of us, including me. Let me just add myself, including me.
And I think that some of these things are things that you really can't learn from school.
No, you can't. And I got into that second competition and I was smoked. And that's when I realized Because when I paid attention, I noticed that these people have been trained. They have learned, they have the love for entrepreneurship, but they were also trained around it. They got some knowledge around it. So I enrolled, obviously, and this is when I started understanding now. To say yeah. And kudos to them, man. They took us in when we were broke at that time. And I think most people don't know that. I have to give it to them, I think, openly here, that actually IMSICA didn't pay for that training. There was a fee.
Oh, there's a fee.
There was a fee.
Okay.
But because they just loved, the founders, they loved our energy, they loved our hunger for what we were trying to do. For some reason, they just allowed us to go through. Just come through, learn, do what you need to do. And I so gleaned from their knowledge. Until today, I still abuse them in terms of just talking to them. Now, coming back to this point, I think the issue that I agree with you there is that there's nothing wrong getting inspiration from somebody else. But I think it is important that you do your due diligence.
Who is this person?
Study the space.
Oh, okay.
You understand that? Like, study the space. Understand what are the pros and cons. What makes it work? What doesn't make it work? Why are they winning? And then create your why. What's the reason why you want to do it as well? Not just because you saw them making money, no. But what is also your reason? And that is when we started interrogating ourselves. So the benefit I had is that prior to all this, I always had a personal purpose that I knew.
Yeah.
You understand that? So everything was tagged to the personal purpose. As I always tell you, we're always chatting about this. I come from a background where I love God, and I'm a strong believer. I love that stuff. So I interrogated myself being from that angle.
Yeah.
So I always knew that I and there's a word, a statement. I'll end with this. The statement that encapsulates my life, and it says that I aspire to inspire before you expire.
Yeah.
Yes. So that was the idea. So I start off from there, and so when I'm doing business, I'm seeing from that angle. When I'm going through this little bit of training to learn how to question, how do you understand the market, how do you validate it, how do you create a product, and all these issues. For me, it's sitting at that core of I'm trying to create an organization that will help people, that will inspire people, that will take them from the people that I left in my district where I came from, and so many others who are like that.
Yeah.
Because I started realizing that, because I was asked a question, how big is the problem you're solving? Apart from your uncle. As usual. You know what I'm talking about? Apart from your uncle. Then I started realizing there's more people. I went to Uganda, sitting in a UN volunteer program event just for about 2-3 days. And when we were listing down the problems that Africa is experiencing, number one was government issues, which is poor governance. Number two was agriculture. And the problem that we are listed in there is exactly what I was dealing with here. For me, I said, well, we're dealing with an Africa and a global issue here.
What number was digitization?
I think people put it up somewhere around number 4.
Okay, because I feel like, especially in Africa, we tend to spend a lot of time trying to solve complicated issues, but we're really struggling with issues that are not really complicated. Like you're talking about farming. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's farming. We should have figured farming out years ago.
Yes,
but we're still figuring it out now. So I feel like we still have enough basic problems to figure out before we start getting into thinking, when are we going to space, about producing.
At this point, we'll just be clapping for the guys.
Exactly. We'll catch up, but I feel we need to figure out the most common issues first. Gilbert, I want us to talk about the ugly stuff. Before we, it's like I said, this podcast is. I believe that success is very visible. So when you do something good, it's very easy for you to be seen. I mean, people talk about it.
Yeah.
But there's a behind the scenes. Okay, what we don't see. What you and I might talk about when we are not in front of the cameras. But I believe that if we don't talk about such things in front of the cameras, we deny people opportunities to learn. I think it was last year that I saw you were putting up a LinkedIn post series
Yeah.
of of how you had gone to zero.
Yeah.
Maybe in a summary, you can tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, so with that background, we were growing every year at least 120%.
That's a lot.
Yeah, from 2016.
That's crazy. That means your field is there's a lot of opportunity. I should enter it then.
Just like they said,
like
more
your guy.
competition is
It's better.
It's
It's
good.
healthier.
is healthy.
Yeah.
Come along.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing is this: we then reach 2020, just prior to COVID-19.
Yeah.
Our dreams start coming to pass. Where the organizations we wished we could partner with start coming on board.
Yeah.
The grants we're talking about here start coming on board. Guys are coming in and we're excited. COVID hits, even better.
Yeah.
Sorry for people that lost a lot of people. I stand with you. But on the business side, things for us start flying even higher. So by that time, by 2020, due to the partnerships we had gotten,
Yeah.
we now had the ability now to have a branch in Chipata now, another branch in Kitwe, and then our staff had grown.
So you open a physical branch.
No, we just put people there, and they would work in a remote office.
Okay.
Yes. So their responsibility was to onboard, because at that time we were helping agro dealers,
Yeah.
the guys, agro retailers, to actually stock their shops without coming to Lusaka now.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're working with this. So they had this time, for the first time, these guys had about 48 agro retailers, the whole entire route from Lusaka all the way to Lundazi and all this way. And this time, these guys really gave us
Yeah.
the contacts. You understand?
This time you have the SMEs.
This time, they gave us the SMEs. Are you seeing that? And we started working with them. And this thing was looking great. Yeah, we had challenges. The challenge was that COVID-19 happened. We couldn't hold meetings. So we had to meet them one by one. So it became harder and more expensive. But it was far better than we could do it by ourselves. And I say this. If you're raising money in Africa, consider NGOs and grants.
Yeah.
For a start. Yeah, consider them. They are a good start. And I also want to speak to NGOs and donors that consider startups. Sometimes they don't need money.
I'm shocked that you managed to do this, because we've raised money through grants before. Well, of course, it never came in cash.
Yeah.
But it sorted a lot of our issues. And it wasn't a small grant.
Small stuff.
You need to introduce me to more grants. I mean, there's never time to stop raising money.
No.
Please proceed.
Yeah, so that's the backdrop. Now, the interesting thing is that why am I explaining all this is that in that period, we expanded and the number of people grew in the office to the level where we even at some point we were like 18 to 20 people as a team. I know it's not a big number for other people, but if you are the one raising post paychecks, payroll,
give you a headache.
Yeah, you know what's going on there. Yeah. And at that point, it was not a headache at all. Paying people's salaries, cool, kind of stuff like that. Come, that's 2020, 2021. We get into 2022. I have raised people now for the last 5 years, and they have grown in leadership positions. And this is something we spoke about, you and me, where it's much exciting when you are promoting someone to a position of leadership who started off in your organization as a very young guy, almost as in a junior position. Yeah. So I saw that. I got a guy who had come through literally just from grade 12, trained him. This guy was so passionate, bought into the dream. Guy had become now the marketing and sales manager. Mm-hmm. This is January, February, March, somewhere there. Yeah, March of 2022. Everything looks okay, calm. I promote this guy. And at this point, by the way, we have just come from a trip that week. We just come from a trip with our truck. Me, him, and another one of our colleagues. We had gone out through the whole entire central province. We were now expanding. So we went to scope every agro retailer now. We have moved from the ones from the NGO. Now we're about to add more. And we had received phones now. So we're going to give these guys, they're going to be procuring from us. It was just mega. We were seeing ourselves covering the whole nation, spilling into Tanzania, Zimbabwe, and whatever it is.
Yeah.
March, 2 weeks after the trip, one of the guys I was with who was leading leading the marketing team decides, guys, I want to leave. So, okay, fine, man, cool. He leaves. The other guy is promoted on Friday. And at this point in time, because both of them had been with me for a long time, so I knew the guy who's coming in is also equal to the task. Friday, I promote him. Monday, passes on at 8 a.m. through a motorbike accident.
Oh, that's the guy you were telling me.
Yes. There starts the trouble.
The problems.
Oh, man. Not because of, like we had problems with his family. Nothing. In fact, it was the smoothest incident that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
In relation to family-wise and stuff like that. But the impact it had on our business was real. I cried for that gentleman. And I always make this statement, and I think my relatives will not be happy with it. But because some relatives I'm not going with so many of them nearby, he is one of the best person I've ever cried for.
Yeah.
A death that I sat and cried like, man. And it took my wife. And I think I must have experienced challenges around that.
Yeah.
To now rally the team to take over that responsibility that guy had, that boy had become amazing to the level whereby he could handle the whole entire e-commerce activity by himself without my help.
How old was the guy?
The guy was like 25.
Pretty young. 25,
26, yeah. The guy could handle all that stuff. In fact, now he was even better at it, such that now I was now looking to start raising now. Because I'm like, this boy can handle the show. Let me concentrate. Because raising needs time. You can't be doing both. You can't be everywhere. You understand that? So I'm like, okay, dude, you're here. Now, everything had to change by Monday, 10 a.m. Every plan I had out of the window. Expansion to all those towns where we had already delivered phones, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Out of the window. No manpower anymore to concentrate. Everything started going haywire. Guys could not handle the sales, distribution, could not handle following up on clients and all those things. And at this point in time, we had just gotten some funds from JICA, about 30K USD. It was in our dollar account. We had spent 10K first. And this is the first, I think it's one of the biggest funds I had received, like in terms of direct cash. Those guys from JICA are amazing. No stories around, no we'll buy nothing. Get your work done. Good job. I said, fine. Now, this is what happens. In the same period, on one side, I'm dealing with this loss. On one side, we just lost overnight about 100,000 kwacha. Because the money that we had received, we had kept it in the dollar account. And that was the same time when, this is 2022, remember? 2021 is when we had elections, am I correct? And then in August.
Yeah.
Yes, we had elections in August. And then, remember the speculation that came with our current president that, economy was going to be, is amazing and he's going to influence and all those things. So the currency was tipping backwards now. So it was at 22 somewhere there and started going backwards, 21. Now, that day I went home from work because I used to watch the account balance every day. Every 40 minutes or 50 minutes or so, I'm the guy who would be in the bank account for the company. And just and just check it. What's the status today? I always wanted to know, are we growing or going down? Are we growing?
Yeah.
That bank balance used to determine my life, my situation.
Your mood.
Yes. Is everything okay? Is the bank balance situation? So as long as I am seeing the dollar account is the way it is, I'm like, So just increase the Kwacha account so we don't touch this other one. Bro, while we're doing that, the dollar just moves from 22 to 21. This is around 16. So I go like, But my partner is like smart. My partner is a smarter guy between the two of us.
Yeah.
Like he's the one who understands this Forex stuff. So I go like, I send him an email, bro. This Forex, I have a feeling that we need to shift this money. I don't know how this stuff happens, but we need to shift this money out from the dollar account to the Kwacha account. He didn't see that email until the following morning at 8 hours. But by 6 hours, when I woke up, the dollar had reached about 19. I said, 100K wiped. Can't remember exactly the actual figures, but we lost that amount. And I saw the dollar account dwindling. I said, hey, before he could respond to that email, I said, I switched it over. But that's how that money went, just like that. So that money, plus the loss of this guy, team failing to realign, we saw a win for ending. For me, I used to calculate because I'd learned by this time what we call burn rate.
Yeah.
So I looked at the burn rate and I knew that by November, there will be zero in here. So now I'm telling the team, guys, wake up. We need to sell. Wake up, guys, we need to sell. I go and talk to my mentor, Chinedu, former Probe CTO.
I know Chinedu,
Yes, I tell him, dude, I've got a mess this side. He tells me, keep at it. That guy has been on my side, man, for ages. He tells me, go, just keep doing your thing. Just keep doing your thing. I said, okay, fine, cool. I go back. Now I'm like, dude, can I fire some people? Can I release some people from my wage bill? We're not making money. They're not producing results, but we were losing, I think, almost, about 45K per month and making like 5K.
In Kwacha, that's a lot of burn.
That's a lot of burn. So I'm like, this is bad. Can I release some people? But there were dynamics going on there, Wallace, that were making me release them at that time just wrong, ethically wrong.
Yeah.
One of my team members just had a baby and has already another child and just got divorced at the same time. Like when I said divorced, husband just left.
Hey.
And all her lifeline is us.
Zika.
And I'm thinking, man, another brother as well, having challenges to do his work, making mistakes here and there, big mistakes, but at the same time, mother just passed on. The mother went into ICU. While the mother was in ICU, him and his grandmother are waiting for her in ICU. The grandmother dies out of shock that her daughter is in ICU.
That's crazy.
So now I'm sitting with Chinedu. I'm like, dude, to save this thing, to save some cash, I need to release people. But it goes like, how do you release people in that state, man? Man, I was okay, fine. So I hold on now.
Let's go to the ground, all of us. We're all crashing together.
Counting into November now. Down.
Did you actually go to zero?
7 pin.
7,000 Kwacha.
From 600.
1,000.
300, 400 there. 600 is a bit of an exaggeration. 300, 400 to 7,000 Kwacha. And I'm watching it. Because I'm watching, like I said, I'm the guy who would look into the bank account every single day, man. I'm looking inside there. Come November, by October, I knew we were remaining with last month's salary. And I told the guys, by November, I said, guys, there's nothing left. There's 7,000 Kwacha, and there's nothing we can do here. So we're done, man. Like, I'll just pay you guys your dues. I'll work it out. I'll make a plan. But there's nothing left for you guys. I think you have to go. And this is how we have to scale down from all those people that I mentioned to now 2 people. So
2?
my partner, yeah. Me and my partner and 2 guys, devs. Because it had taken us a lot of work to build that team. So I said we couldn't release that. There was a lot of IP there that was still incoming. We had built a very powerful system for the agri space. I think you've seen that. It has got payment systems. It has got all those things. Bulk SMSs. So I was like, I can't lose the team there. So I said, guys, any money made here is yours. Me, we'll see what happens. And all this while, bro, you have to understand. Now, this is the part that pained me, by the way. I think maybe this could be a lesson for somebody. First of all, remember, the first lesson I said is that if you're in Africa, Zambia, consider NGOs, grants. They are very helpful. Start with that. The second lesson I will pass here, bro, is that when you are in Africa, Zambia to be specific, we are not in Silicon Valley. That's number one.
Like you thought.
Like I thought. So when you're starting a business, if you're alone or if you're a partner, make sure that the first salaries come to you. I never got a salary with my partner, bro, for 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. No salary, completely zero. After 3 years, I started getting, in the fourth year, I started paying myself something like a 1,300 kwacha.
Anyway, sorry for laughing. It's a funny story. Man.
Yeah, like in my head, I'm in Silicon Valley. Because I'm thinking, one moment from now, a VC will come
and give you 100,000.
Yeah, but they also want to hear that I put in my grit. You understand? I don't get paid. We don't get paid as founders. We don't get paid our salary because that side it's a big story. It's a good story. But bro, year 1, year 2, year 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The VC has not arrived.
You've got a family to support.
You've got a family to support, and I also think that you are less serious. Me, that is my definition now. I go counter to the Western culture. I think in Zambia, you are less serious when you don't have a salary at your business.
Of course.
You get a point? Huh? So for your own, and I think we would have gone a different. There are things today that me and my partner, we don't do easily. You get a point? Huh? Like right now, he's based in Undazi, he's doing a part of our business side, he's doing some good job. But I think even all that stuff, we could have avoided it had we agreed that, bro, this is your cut. Do you know that in all that money that I mentioned that we raised, let me tell you how much money we've raised so far to date, prior to now. I think a total of roughly about 100K USD from grants and opportunities and stuff like that. Competitions we have won. Do you know that in all that, the first 3 years of all that total of money, I got nothing? First of all, except fuel for the vehicle, which is I'm going to work. You get a point, huh? I'm going to work because I'm still going to work, so I can't go like it's mine. Then number 2, in all that money, I then got my salary, which was 1,300 kwacha.
Yeah, and you've got a wife and kids.
And I got a wife and kids, and that was the whole entire time. So when I finally failed, when everything went, I was like, forget Silicon Valley.
Reality.
I love it. I love that place. I love what they do. But, and I'm not saying that I was very naive of where I was in terms of our problem solving. Every problem we solved, we knew we took the environment to place. But I just thought that maybe, because I knew that the investors were not going to be coming from here. Yeah. You understand? Again, we are talking to investors. Most of the competition, they're from outside. So I was trying to appease that. But I realized, first of all, I have to make sure that I am comfortable. I am happy. When I'm happy, when everything is okay, when the people around me, my family, my wife, my kids, everyone is good, then I can be okay to press on. I can listen. Somebody, I like making this joke. You are running your business, but you also have a side hustle. So when is the business going to grow? So
never.
It's not going to happen anytime soon, So those are the issues that I started learning. Like, no, don't do that stuff. So when I was starting in 2023, I asked myself, what would be a good pay? And I gave myself that. Yeah, I was like, what would make sense? I want stress the organization because it's not there yet, but I also want to stress myself.
And you're getting old.
I think age was not the biggest issue. My concern was that money passed here, and I only got nothing.
And it's a very painful thing because I also went through the same.
Yeah.
Where you've got a lot of money. Me, I've raised quite a lot. But I was talking to my accountant the other day, and the amount of salary I'm owed, it's in hundreds of thousands of dollars.
There you go.
And it's a very painful process to go through. But I mean, I've probably come up with ways of recovering it, but it's not nice.
No, it's not. Man.
It's really, really not nice. And it's a tough. I used to feel like I was stealing from myself when I was paying myself.
No,
And it's a very bad place to be. I wouldn't wish for anyone to be in that space.
Yeah.
Gilbert, I can sit and talk to you here the whole day, and
True.
conversations we can have back to back. This podcast is not going anywhere. Like I mentioned, this is not like a business where I say, but don't monetize it in the next 6 months.
Yeah.
I'll shut down.
I'm
So
dead.
I'll keep doing this, and I'll keep calling guys for conversations. But before we close, do you have any questions for me? Because this is a conversation.
I think the main question is, I think something that we picked up, because like a lot of times when I come to see you, or when I need to see you, I'll call, and when I'm going to the office, you're not there. You're not there. So there are two things. Question number one is, why did you need a PA? I know a lot of people who you work with a PA for different reasons, but I would want to hear your reason, number one. Then second question is, so now that you have a PA, I think that filters to certain degrees a lot of things. So you have more time, but then that time now as a CEO, what do you do? Because a lot of times you work from home, so
all the time.
Yeah, the majority of the time you work from home. So as a CEO, what's your work? Because you have got a very good management team. I know them. Amazing manager. So I feel like there's little work for you to do there, because she is amazing. And yes, they still need you for some decisions. But what does your week look like? What do you do then?
So first things first. The reason why I got a PA was because I was preparing for scale. And I also know what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. I easily get distracted. And I needed someone to reorganize my life a bit. I like a good structure. I like structure. And I felt like it was getting a bit disorganized. But I also needed someone that could filter what is coming to me because of two reasons. Number one, time. And number two, because of my mental state. If you consume too much, it becomes too much for you to process. So I trained her how to filter what was important to me before it gets to me. So, and now that she's been there for 2 years, she knows that if I want to talk to him, this is the time I'll talk to him. I'll talk to him about this. If it's a serious issue, she'll look for the best timing and she will approach me with that issue. Also, she practices a lot of patience. So sometimes I might be in a bad mood if I look at the bank balance like you. I might be in a bad mood, and then
I don't do that now.
and then it affects your whole week.
Yeah.
But she's able to do. But the reason why, major reason, is because of those two things, to get some sort of a structure in my life, and because I wanted to filter what I'm consuming. But also now, I've always prepared for scale. I've always prepared for greatness. So there's certain things you have to put in place, and they have to find you there. Greatness has to find that you already have these things, like a good team, something that works. You get, and I mean it's probably one of the best decisions I ever made.
Okay.
I'm more at peace. I don't have to be involved with everything.
So what do you end up doing now?
I end up doing a lot of strategic work.
Okay.
Strategic work is getting new partnerships in different countries, just seeing how we can scale from the geography we're in to another place. That's basically what I'm focusing on 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. And also development of new products. I'm a product guy, so most of the person I'm guaranteed to talk to every day is Jens, because every day we're just building stuff, new products. I love doing that, and I cannot do that and also do operations. And also now, if I do operations, I feel like I'm being underutilized. So that's what I do.
The issue of products. Now, I'm asking this because of my background. So I get to fall in there a little bit. I don't know whether I can call it a trap or what.
Yeah.
You know, where my wife has to pull me out. You
Yeah.
know, it's this issue of creating ideas, creating products and all that. How do you balance the level of production of products versus their monetization?
So I have, which is also actually something that I was talking about it in my previous podcast. I've mastered the art of building products that can be monetized. And this only comes through experience. I don't overcomplicate things. Okay, so chances of you seeing me build a product that hasn't been done before are almost zero.
Okay.
I will probably build the same product, slightly better or the same, but I will pay a lot of attention to execution. Okay, so the people in the background doing the work, how is it being delivered? How is the service, and so on. So that's how, for example, I've managed to retain all my customers, regardless of my competition, because we've put in too much work in what comes after the product. Okay, because at the end of the day, people really don't care about the app they're using, for example, to other things like food. They care about certain things, value. Am I getting my product on time? Am I getting it in good state? All those things. So that's the small details that I pay attention to.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've stopped overcomplicating things. It doesn't mean that if something exists, you cannot do it. You can just do it. Just look for a novel way of doing it. A brighter way, a smarter way, an easier way. Yeah, and the good thing is that if you do something that's already been done, at least you've got the advantage of that market already being educated.
That is the third lesson I got when I failed. So my rule now is get into a saturated market. That is my rule, which is counter what a lot of incubating environments usually tell you, because the idea is get a niche. So
A niche is good if you've got capital to educate the public.
we're in Zambia, man. We're in Africa.
You don't have that.
So that's not there.
If you're self-funding, you don't have that.
So for me, my rule is now, if I'm gonna do anything new, I'm going where everybody is. So if you are selling your biscuits here, I'm selling right there next to you.
Yeah.
The same biscuit. I'm not gonna go get another one. But what I've learned is that, which is what I'm getting from you, is find a unique way to provide this thing.
Find a unique way. For me, it's tech. I digitize
Yeah.
traditional businesses. So if you're selling tomatoes, I will still sell tomatoes, but I'll just look for an easier way of selling those tomatoes. You get? I'm not going to come and sell you something that you don't need or use because nobody else is doing it. No. I'm going to come and look at what exists in the market.
Yeah.
So our group motto is enabling digital transformation.
Yeah.
So what that means is that we are not going to invent anything new. We're just going to digitize what is being done and transforming it and making it easier for the user. So those are the businesses I probably intend to be in. Even the businesses that Tiens and I are building.
Yeah.
I don't think there's an idea I'll tell you and you go, wow. No, you only go, wow, when you see how I'm doing it.
The outcome.
The outcome.
It reminds me of something I'm thinking about right now as we probably wind up. There's a notion that, you know, when you're in places like Zambia, when people are seeing maybe sometimes prices of things going up, there's a cry in their thoughts that, you know, there's no money. But I saw a little bit of a different perspective, which is the kind of clientele we are seeing now with after pivoting, because 2023 was amazing.
Yeah.
You know, amazing. We have seen a great result. Where now we are called by people. This is where I started realizing that there's money in the nation.
Yeah.
When a client calls you to say, "Hey, I heard that you literally handhold people in doing their farming.
Yeah.
I have money. How can you help me do so?"
It's a huge business, man.
So I'm like, what? Like
That's the best business.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, so you see that it's how you look at things.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the thought there, and I think we'll still be coming for more.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you very much for coming.
No, thanks for inviting me here.
Great. I hope you enjoyed the conversation.
Anytime, man.
And I hope we taught each other one or two things. I'm sure the subscribers or the listeners or the guys watching will learn one or two things in it.
I hope so. I hope it didn't come out as me ranting.
No.
It's lessons.
And I laughed. I like conversations that I'm laughing.
Yeah, it's lessons. It's a journey, and I want to say that a lot of these people around are now in my ecosystem.
Yeah.
We partner, we work together.
Yeah.
But that's how those relationships are built.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you learn to think wiser, to have tenacity.
Yeah.
When adversity comes your way, do you quit or do you improve? Yeah. So thank you very much for allowing me to share this kind of information.
Great.
Yeah.
Once again, it's been a great conversation here on Mentorship Uncomplicated. I'm your host, Mr. Afshan Wallace. And before I check out, this podcast is sponsored by yours truly, Afri Delivery, your logistics or e-commerce partner where you can get anything on the app or on the website. Just go to afridelivery.app or download the app. We look forward to seeing you on the coming episodes. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. And don't forget to share this with your friends. Cheers.
One time like this, make it pop like this, make it knock like. One time like this, make it pop like this, knock